Professor Harvey K is on the line with us, Professor of Democracy and Justice Studies at the University of Wisconsin at Green Bay, and author of The Fight for the Four Freedoms, due out in April. But I got to tell you, and I've said this on the air many times, if you want to really read the best history that's ever been written about the founding era, read his book, Thomas Paine and the Promise of America. It is absolutely brilliant. Harvey K, Kaye, Twitter at Harvey K, and that's the website, I guess. So, Professor Harvey K, welcome back to the program.
Tom, thank you. Thank you very much.
It's great to have you with us. I was the other day listening to NPR, and they had on this author of this new book, this new History of America, or whatever. This, about the how. Well, actually, I'd like you to characterize how they're characterizing it. And it sounded, basically, the author was on, and he was saying, well, at the founding of America, you had this debate between Thomas Paine and Sir Edmund Burke, and it reflected the two worldviews, and it was, and I thought, wow, this really sounds like an interesting book. But then I read your review, and I thought, whoa, wait a minute. So tell us about this.
Okay, well, the young fellow's name is Yuval Levin. He's the rising star of conservative public intellectuals. And I have to say that in one respect, he's a very bright guy. He wrote a really challenging book called The Great Debate, where he does lay out the ideas of Edmund Burke, the father of modern conservatism, and the ideas of Thomas Paine, the father of modern progressivism, and tries to be somewhat fair along the way, but obviously repeatedly, and he says he realizes he's going to be that way, repeatedly emphasizes the conservative argument over the progressive argument. And the way he does this is he says, well, look, Burke wasn't the kind of conservative who denied the necessity of change. What he did is he believed in a kind of piecemeal reform, that as change becomes imperative, that you don't oppose it, but if in fact if it's part of the culture and the society, and it might enhance people's values or their development of those values, then you can carry out certain reforms. In contrast, he said, to Thomas Paine, who, frankly, he doesn't use these words, but it was as if Thomas Paine is completely untethered from reality. That every generation has the right to overthrow that which exists and ignore the sort of legacy of a previous generation. It's this, sort of classic kind of thing. Now, what's interesting about what he does is that he's a conservative of the Burkean variety. Mm-hmm. And the conservative of the Burkean variety never caught on in the United States, really. Right. I mean,
Burke was British, first of all. He never came to the United States.
Right. He was British, and he's dealing with the world of England and France, and Burke's influence in America was very limited. Now, there were folks in the United States, the new country, who can be viewed as somewhat Burkean. I'm going to get a lot of arguments from historians, I imagine, when I say this, but there were those among the Federalists, of like John Adams and others, who had serious reservations about democracy, to the point, actually, of fearing the common people. Yeah. And I think, in that sense, they were Burkean. In contrast to Paine, who perhaps, I don't think there's any denying, had an exuberant kind of confidence in the common people, and especially in Americans, in their capacity to make the world over again. Now, by the time I finished the book, which, again, it was rather challenging, I actually felt a little sorry for Levin, because he's laying out a conservative set of ideas, the Burkean set of ideas, which never caught on in America, and which the Republican Party today completely denies. I mean, the Republican Party is not just a reactionary party dominated by the likes of the Tea Party folk, but they try to lay claim to the legacy of Thomas Paine in the most fundamental libertarian sense, and that is that government is a necessary evil, and if you can limit government, do so. So the Tea Party folk, the Republican Party of today, will probably have nothing to do with Yuval Levin's arguments, and will try to lay claim to our hero, Thomas Paine. And I say our hero because for more than 200 years, conservatives did everything they could to bury Paine's memory, or at least to denigrate.
It took Thomas Edison to bring him out of the dustbin of history.
Yeah, no, I mean, over and over again, there were folks who who grabbed hold of various elements of Paine, his argument for democracy, his argument for separation of church and state, and his argument for creating a social security system, all of which begins with this father of modern progressivism, Thomas Paine. And so if you look about today, well, actually, maybe we should feel sorry for both Levin and well, I don't want us to feel sorry for ourselves. I want us to take action. But our Democratic Party is not the party of Thomas Paine. The Republican Party is clearly not the party of Burke. And
right.
So, there's a reason for us to, as I say in the article, to take him out for a beer, Yuval Levin, sympathize with him, and then go home and take action.
Right, and help the Democratic Party become the party of Thomas Paine.
No, absolutely. They definitely, without question.
Well, I'm not sure that the Republican, as you said, Burkean, has never caught on in the United States. I think that there was an attempt, and it's the reason why Russell Kirk back in 51 or 52 or 53, when he wrote The Conservative Mind, the entire first chapter is devoted to Sir Edmund Burke.
Right. There are those figures, and Russell Kirk is the prime example of someone who really did worship Burke's memory. But William F. Buckley, of course, when he created the magazine National Review, he brings together what he hopes to be the Burkean side and the Adam Smith side of conservatism, if you like, the sort of traditionalists and the sort of the pro-marketeers. So.
Right. Yeah, but it never quite worked out. But it's fascinating. And by the way, I got your Twitter wrong. It's Harvey J. Kaye, Harvey, the letter J, Kaye is your
Thank
Twitter.
You. That's very nice. I hate to correct people. So
oh no, you should. If you're ever on the air and you're misintroduced, please, especially by me, but by anybody, don't hosts don't feel bad being.
Yeah, I'm laughing to myself right now. I had my students meet in my class 15 minutes early so I could come to talk to you, and I think they said they were going to possibly listen on a laptop. And when I just said I hate to correct people, I know they're saying, that isn't the Harvey K. we know.
Okay, so in the minute and a half or so we have left, we're talking with Harvey K., professor of democracy and justice studies at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay, and author of the absolutely brilliant book, Thomas Paine and the Promise of America. And he has a new book coming out, The Fight for the Four Freedoms. We will have you on when that book comes out again. But Professor Kaye, what the Tea Party and these guys who call themselves conservatives, like Ted Cruz, these guys are really reactionaries. They're not conservatives. Who are the real conservatives? What has happened to the conservatives?
The conservatives have all but disappeared, or they're being primaried, right, by the likes of the Tea Party folks.
Right.
I look around, and maybe you can tell me, I don't see any conservatives in the grand traditional...
I think Olympia Snowe was the last one.
You know what? That's well said, actually, from Maine. Absolutely.
I mean, you've got the neoconservatives, you got the Lindsey Grahams and the John McCains, but they're not really conservatives.
No, they're definitely not conservatives. But, of course, I mean, again... The Tea Party folks have done a remarkable job of literally mastering the Republican Party, holding them to account and affording them a sense of direction. And the tragedy for us is that they've been very aggressively laying claim to Thomas Paine, whose legacy has served generations of liberals and radicals and progressives to advance. Well,
it also serves revolutionaries, though, and these guys are revolutionary.
The likes of the Tea Party.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Libertarian revolutionaries are very close to that. They're prepared to to tear the whole house down.
That's right. Overthrow the old order.
Yeah.
It's and throw the baby out with the bathwater. In fact, according to Right Wing Watch, Freedom Works is it's a whole long story. I can't get into it now. Anyhow, Harvey J. Kaye is his Twitter address. Thank you, Harvey.
Thank you, Tom. I hope to talk to you soon.
Hang on just a second.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Harvey Kaye, his book, The Thomas Paine and the Promise of America. If you have never read this book, you must. If you want to know the history of the American Revolution, read it. Thank you, Harvey.